everybody, welcome to the video. I wanted to do an update on Bitcoin and Ethereum here, before things really start to get a little crazy. I'm starting to see some things, and I want to kind of talk through some of these scenarios. Start with Bitcoin, then after about 5 or 7 minutes, I will move over to Ethereum. Before I get started, this isn't financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. This market is extremely risky, and you're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. This is simply my opinion on the market. All right. So what I want to focus on Bitcoin first, because as you all know, we did a video here just recently, just a few days ago, outlining this correction. I had some critique on the WXY, and it made sense. I agreed with that generally. So, I switched this from a WXY to an ABC correction. Although the C wave did go out a lot longer than I really would have expected it to, but nonetheless, we have a pretty clean count here, getting ourselves down, whether this is, 5 waves down or 3 waves down. This looks like it's a completed correction. So naturally, we are looking for the next move. Where are we going to go next? And how violent is the move going to be? And what's going to happen first? What's going to precursor the big move up or down? All right, so first things first, we are on the 12-hour just ramming our head up against this 200 simple moving average at 9,500, I'm sorry, 9,575, 9,600. We can't make our way above that. And if we go to a daily time frame, let's take a look here. We are trading above all of these major moving averages on the daily. We are above the 200 simple moving average, which has been support. If I zoom in here, we can see the 200 simple moving average has been support once we were able to penetrate it and close above it. We closed this daily, this first move up on October 26th. We closed above all of our major moving averages. And again, when I talk about major moving averages, I'm talking about the 21 exponential, the 55 exponential, the 100 exponential, the 200 simple. Of course, there are many others, but these are the ones that I like to pay attention to. And of course, with our Bollinger Bands, we've got our 20 simple moving average here as well, which is close to the 21 exponential, is slightly different. But nonetheless, we're about ready to get a little bit of a cross here on the daily. And on the daily, the 21 and the 55 exponential, they haven't crossed yet, but I would expect that they are going to here in the next, probably the next day or two. And this is also one of the reasons why I do think we have a big move coming. Now, where are we going to go next? So if I go to a 3-day time frame, I see a couple things here. I see our 21 exponential on the 3-day at 9,025. I see our 55 exponential down here at 8881. But let's go ahead and move ourselves down to a 3-hour time frame, and let's just take a look here at some of the noise that we have going on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fib retracement. I'm going to start down here at the bottom, and I'm going to work my way to the top. It's not going to be extremely technical, but what I want to pay attention to is another move back down here to the 50. Another move back down to the 50, and we're on a 3-hour time frame. So another move back down here to the 50 is likely. It is extremely possible that we come back down here on the 3-hour time frame. We come back down here and retest 8607. If we retest 8600, that's perfect for a push near the 618. Now we all know what happened with CME yesterday. We all know that it had that flash crash, pure manipulation if you looked at the volume profile on that move down. But it would not surprise me to see Bitcoin come down here to to capture or find stops. The longs that have been opening and opening interest in this consolidation area up here, it's very clear that there are some longs that have been opening here, and it would not surprise me for us to come down and liquidate or stop out those longs before we see the violent move to the upside. And I do have a bias that we are going to move up, but I do believe that we go down first. Okay, so shout out to Bajit. Thanks for joining in with me this evening. All right, so what I want to do, I want to pull this real quick. I'm going to start here at the top, and I'm going to come all the way over here to our bottom over here, and then I'm going to come up here to our push up. And then what we have, again, we have more confluence here at the 8600 level. So it would not surprise me to see this correct as an ABC pattern. I do not believe for a moment that we are in any kind of a pennant. Hola, Chris, ¿cómo estás? All right, coming back down here. We're looking back down here, 8600, and this is a nice ABC correction. And the longer this takes, this takes us out 2 days. 2 days. I'm expecting a big move to happen, likely before the end of the week. It could be something like that. Yeah, 8600, very likely. Very likely we go to 8600, and if we do, I really think we are going to be ready for a skyrocket. I really believe that if we see a bullish reaction off of this 200 simple moving average down here on the 3-hour chart, and again, this is going to take a little bit of time. It's probably not going to happen very quick. Likely we have a little bit of an A, B, C going on here. We're going to have another correction up, and then we're going to see that move down. And that's going to be where we're going to want to see this next 1, 2, and then we're going to see the 3, 4, 5 of this next move. So we're going to want to see a reaction like this. As far as horizontals go, this level right here at about 9,075 is pretty important, but it really would not surprise me to come back down here to this same consolidation zone. Same consolidation zone that we found initial resistance before we pushed through it. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if we came down and retested that same level. So 8650, 8800. Don't be afraid at this level. We were talking all along when we were back here, and I was pleading with everybody. I'm like, this is where you have to buy. This is where you have to buy, right? And sure enough, it was just a few hours later we saw a huge 40% increase, and albeit we did correct quite a bit, right? We corrected. If I had to look here, we corrected, and there we go. Yeah, we corrected a good 15% off of that move. So we went up 40%, we corrected 15%. So big moves. I would not be scared at the 8,800 level. Where I would start getting scared is if we penetrate through this 618 level. It's possible that we stop here at 8,950. I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm bullish. I do think that we're going to go up, but I think that we will go down first. So if you don't want to try and catch a falling knife, you can wait for this move to have a good spring reaction off of it and catch the next corrective wave down, maybe 8,900. So if we come back down here to 8,600, and then we spring up back to 9,000 or 9,200, I would be all over long positions if we spring from 8,600 back to over 9,000, and on that retest of maybe 8,900 or 9,000, that is totally where I would be interested in some very aggressive long positions. And again, this whole Fibonacci pull is supporting all of this structure, right? If we stop here at the 50, that's okay for a wave 2. If we stop down here at the 618, that's more ideal for us to come down here and test the 618. But again, this is probably going to take a couple more days. I would like for this to happen a little bit faster, but it's probably going to take a couple more days, and I do think that we are going to go down a bit. So just my thoughts there. Now let's take a real quick look at Ethereum. Ethereum versus the US dollar. This, in my opinion, is a great opportunity for a short. This is, in my opinion, a really wonderful opportunity for a short. I'm going to pull out my parallel channel here, and I want to pay attention to this level up here, where we have our resistance. So let's pay attention to this resistance, and let's come straight down here to this support level. My opinion, we still have a ways down. I think we're likely going to come all the way back down here to about 184. It is possible that we come all the way back down to 180. So 180 to 184 is likely where I'm looking for a target for Ethereum. Um, if you're going to open up long positions, I would probably do a stop loss around $179 or $180, whatever you're more comfortable with. This support level should hold. That's here at about $180.50. It could wick below that, as you see it has done several times. The other thing here that I do want to point out is we do have a little bit of a trend line. We've got this one that we have to pay attention to. And there's also this trend line, which also would support this move back down here to the median at about $185. And if we pull this trend line back down a bit, it doesn't quite line up perfectly, but it's pretty close, lining up to the wick down that we had. And I suppose I could pull this out just a little bit. Still supporting a move down to $185. We're at 188, a $3 move. Not significant, of course. We're really only talking about a 2% move with 10x leverage. That's only 20% or so. Yeah, but so we've got that. And as far as our RSI goes, I don't really see any bearish divergence on Ethereum right now on this particular 3-hour time frame. The Stokes do look a little bearish, but the RSI still looks a little constructive. But I do think that we will have a move back down here to the 185 level. So similar to Bitcoin, I think that we've got to pull down. So just sit it aside, just wait, be patient, because I do think that we will come back down here. And so Ethereum at $184, $185 is pretty nice for me. That's the 55 exponential 184.11 on the 3-hour time frame. So these are things that I want to look for. We have had a little bit of an uptick in volume, and the uptick in volume that we have had, just by the way, has been on the bullish candles. So this is showing me that there is a little bit of accumulation going on here, and likely when we come back down here and retest this 184.76, you can see the pattern already. I don't know if anybody has caught it on the chart, but you can see this pattern. This is the type of pattern that we talk about all the time. We talk about this pattern all the time, where we are creating this bullish ascending wedge. And this almost always breaks to the upside. This almost always breaks to the upside. So likely we stop here at 185 or so. If we close a 3-hour candle below 185, just be very careful. I was just talking a little bit ago about this 180.56 level. At that point, right? So if we do break down below this, let's talk about what that scenario might look like. Usually, what happens. Let me get this and pull out my polyline. So if we do break down here, we're likely going to push down there, and then we're going to move up to at least 187 or so. We watch the reaction there, because sometimes what happens is on that last touch of the trend line, sometimes it does push below it a little bit, but it should very quickly move back up inside of it or break above to the upside. So that's of course what we're going to be looking for. We're going to be looking for that bullish breakout above this trend line, which is at about $191, $192. We've been fighting with that for a while. We were able to pop back up to 192.64 just a little bit ago. Yeah, actually, it's what, 9 or 12 hours ago we were able to push back up there, but now it looks like we again are going to come back down here to 185, and it is possible we will kind of go under it just a little bit, but I don't want to see us spend more than a candle or two below this red trend line, because this is looking kind of bullish. And so if it breaks down, it breaks down. You got to know when you're wrong, and for me, when I think I'm wrong is when Ethereum breaks $180. If Ethereum breaks 180 and especially closes a 3 or a 4-hour candle below $180, I know that it's got much further to go. More than likely, it's going to come all the way back down here to $170. So stop loss at 180, and then you have a $10 move where you could try again. I don't know that I would short here at 180 if it breaks 180, but you can again wait and watch what the reaction is, because very well we could just be entering a chop phase where we break this, right? We come down and then we go up and then we go down. We're going to start a phase like that if we break down, and then eventually it could get to the point where we break through this again. So just be very careful and manage your risk appropriately. For me right now, the trade on Ethereum, if you're not already short, the trade on Ethereum is at $184.50 to $185, and that's when you will wait to see a move to the upside, breaking through and closing, more importantly, breaking through and closing of over $192, and then we can see that bullish continuation to the upside. All right, so I think I've talked long enough. I've kind of got my point across. I wanted to talk about this before it actually happened because I do think Bitcoin is going to have a sharp move down over the next day or two. Very possible it's going to happen tonight. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Right now, the Stokes on the 3-hour are showing that we are heading down. And I'm not talking fast. I'm just saying that generally speaking, over the next several 3-hour candles, it's showing that we are in a downward trend. And so that's why I'm thinking for Ethereum, we're likely looking at 184.50, 185. And for Bitcoin, also looking at this for Bitcoin, it's possible over time we come back down here to 86 to 8,800. But right now, I'm focused mostly on this level at 9,200. But again, this is just for a swing. On a short down here, a swing down to 9,200 could come back down here to 9,100 or even 9,000 tonight. But this could be the beginning of this corrective phase again. And I know I've outlined this once already. I'm just going to do it one more time. So we've got A, B, and then a move down here to C, and then we could have an A, B, C, and then another move A, B, C. And how deep this goes, we don't know. It could stop here at 89.50. It could go a little farther, and maybe even come all the way down here to our 200 simple moving average on the 3-hour time frame down here about 86 to 8,700. So this is kind of where I'm expecting Bitcoin to go over the next 2 days or so. I do think short term we are down, but yeah, we are definitely looking for a pretty big reaction here, especially if you look at the 12-hour time frame. I'm going to get rid of this polyline just to look at this. Look at the Bollinger Bands, right? You could see that we had a huge expansionary phase where the Bollinger Bands expanded tremendously. And then what have they done? What have they done? They have done nothing more than contract. And we are now in just sort of this phase where we're trading right here in the middle of it. We haven't tested the bottom of this 3-hour Bollinger Band, or sorry, this is a 12-hour Bollinger Band. Doesn't mean that we have to, but we are in a phase where we are starting to tighten. We're starting to tighten a little bit here, and the tighter this gets, I do expect that we're going to test this 21 exponential. It's possible for us to test this 55 exponential. Again, this is about 88.50. But we are tightening, and this is a different type of squeeze that we're in. We're not talking about short squeeze. We're not talking about long squeeze. We're talking about the range tightening, and this is just a standard deviation based on the 20 simple moving average. That range is getting tighter and tighter and tighter because there is no volatility. There's no volatility right here, and really there hasn't been. And if there was volatility, we would have had more more percentage moves in the last several days than what we've had. Really, we've been trading in this range between 9,050 and 9,550 over the last, really, honestly, we've been here ever since October 26th. We have been in this range. We haven't closed in this range ever since we have made that move. So right here at about 9,100, we haven't closed a 12-hour below 9,100. We haven't closed a 12-hour above 95.55 or so. We've got wicks in both directions testing liquidity. And likely, I do think we're going to push down again. I know I sound like a broken record. I do think we're going to push down and test it down here again. But likely what's going to happen, we're going to get that push down, and we're going to get that spring to move to the upside, and we'll have another expansionary phase. So we expanded when we broke down. We entered, an area of a tight move, and then we had a significant move to the upside, and then we had a rollover to the downside. Then we had another expansionary move to the upside. We got blocked off here at the 200 simple here on the 12-hour time frame. If we do happen to close a 12-hour above this number here at about 95.50 to 95.60, then that is a sign that we are expanding likely to the upside. Likely to the upside. Right now we're just trading right above this 20 simple moving average on the 12-hour time frame. So it would not surprise me again for us to go down first before we go up. But our upside targets, as I've outlined before, my first target is going to be 11,360. Once we break through 11,360, I am going to be looking for 12,600. And then finally, there it is. This 15,887 is that next move. And that next move, just for the record, let me go back to a daily time frame and just put this into perspective. If we are to move up that high, this is likely going to be the first wave of wave 3. So this is just going to be wave 1 of wave 3. Let that sink in for a moment. If we are able to push above this 9,600 level, we are likely going to continue to move, likely pretty violently, to the upside, and this is just going to be the start of that last wave. So I'll leave you with that. And of course, we'll watch it as it goes. We're not going to be too crazy. We're not going to go, we're not going to go into Deribit. We're not going to go into BitMEX. We're not going to go into Bybit and do like 100x trades. This is not. I'm not that kind of a person, right? So I'm simply suggesting that if we go up, we are likely going to go up in an extreme way, but it is also equally as possible that we go down. My bias is bullish, but I'm extremely short term, meaning within the next day or two, I'm short term bearish. I do think we come down, but I am interested in picking up some positions down in that 8,800 to 9,000 level. I would be buying 9,000 like it's going out of style. And if I'm wrong, then I definitely would have stop loss. On a daily candle closing below 89.50, I would be doing a stop loss down there. Because if we break down, then I think we have significantly lower targets to hit. But we'll cross that bridge if we get there. So for right now, down, short term, long term, looking up. All right. Well, it's pretty late here, so hopefully everybody is having a good day, and I'll talk to everybody on the Discord server. Thanks for joining in. Thanks Pajit. Thanks Primal. Thanks Sitkunt for joining in the chat tonight. It was good to have you guys here. Have a good night, everybody.